moves. Out of the super investors that I follow, Burry is definitely the biggest mover and shaker. Check this out. His equity portfolio is now up to a value of $138 million, which, by the way, is nowhere near the amount of money he actually controls. But even in that relatively small equity portfolio, he added to 6 stocks, bought 5 new ones, and sold out of 14 stocks. But honestly, that equity portfolio is nothing. It gets even crazier than that because very often Michael Burry doesn't just play around with stock holdings. A big part of his 13F filings are his put and call option positions. And that's where we find his position against ARKK, the ARK Invest Innovation ETF. This is a fund obviously offered by Cathie Wood's ARK Invest that aims to invest in companies that rely on or benefit from the development of new products and services, technological improvements, and advancements in scientific research relating to DNA, energy, automation, manufacturing, next generation internet, and innovative financial services. So what has he done? Well, Scion Asset Management at the end of Q2 held put options against 235,500 ARKK shares, representing $31 million. So during Q2, Burry has formed a decent bet that the shares of ARKK are going south. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to know what strike price Burry has on these options, and we don't get to know the expiry date, which honestly is a bit of a bummer for us watching along at home trying to figure out whether he's in the money. All we know is that at some point in Q2 2021, Burry placed this bet against ARK and he still held the bet at the end of Q2. So there you go, Burry has placed his bet against the ARK Innovation ETF. Although, to be honest, we shouldn't blow this one out of proportion. This position is 1.48% of his portfolio, so not a lot. Compare that to his short position against Tesla itself, which is now 35.11% of the portfolio, and all of a sudden this move seems pretty tiny. Other interesting things in the options part of the portfolio this quarter, Burry increased his Facebook call position by 71%, so he is very bullish on Facebook in the short to medium term. He now has calls on more than 941,000 Facebook shares, worth $327 million. That position now takes up 15.7% of his portfolio. Then lastly, with the options portfolio, remember last quarter he made all these bets against the 20-year treasuries? Well, despite selling out of TTT and TMV and reducing 80% in TBT, which all bets against the 20-year treasury bonds, he has increased his put option position on the iShares 20-year treasury bond ETF by 53%. So Burry's still maintaining a sizable bet on inflation, and overall that will just about wrap up Michael Burry's 13F for this quarter. Definitely playing hot potato with the equity holdings, then increases the Tesla short, increases the Facebook call, increases the bet against the 20-year treasuries, and as we've been talking about, starts betting against Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation ETF.